let the story commence. Craig was walking down next to the canal with his umbrella because it was raining. He then put it down to walk with it, you know, like a kind of cane, you know, just sort of like, you know, you get the people who sort of walk like that. They sort of point it out in front of them like they're pointing. He did that, but he forgot you're not meant to do it while having the umbrella open. So he sort of kicked it and stamped on it accidentally, and thereby breaking it, and thereby tripping himself up, and therefore falling into the canal. He fell into the canal, and a barge came by, someone on a barge, and said, "It's not your fault. Contrary to the Canals and Walkways Act Scotland 1983, there must be fencing and safe signage there. Safe distance between path and canal. If there is a distance between the path and the canal which does not exceed 1 metre, there must be a safe barrier there to make up for the fact there isn't a buffer area there to fall into the grass or nearly fall into the canal." Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's not actually your fault here. And Craig went, "Who are you?" "I'm just an ordinary person. I bought this barge a few years ago. And I just make my way up and down these canals." And Craig went, "I never actually see it. I see people parking their barges," or whatever you call parking. What would you call it? Docking. And Craig went, "Oh." And the guy was a bit older, went, "What's so funny?" He went, "Oh, nothing. It's just a sex thing." "Oh, right, I think I remember. Something to do with arses or something. Am I right?" "Aye. Use one of the holes. It's always normally is, isn't it? With all the sexual stuff, it's normally a hole. Always involves a hole, usually." And Craig went, "Aye." And the guy said, "My name's John, and probably doesn't surprise you that I'm not a big fan of holes. Not a big fan of holes when it comes to being on the water here. A hole in this barge or any boat can lead to the whole thing sinking. So I'm not wanting to be crude here and talk about my sexual exploits when I was a bit a younger man, but I wasn't adverse to some sort of orifice." I'm being crude here. "Listen, do you want to come on?" And Craig went, "Aye, absolutely." So Craig went on the barge, and the guy said, "What's your name?" "Craig." "I'm John." "I know," he said. "Listen, dry yourself off there. There's a towel. There's all the rest of it." And Craig looked about this barge, and it was really good. And they went down this canal, the Clyde and Forth Canal, westwards, towards like west of Scotland, that direction. And Guy went, Craig said, "So what's your story here?" And John said, I was in the army, served a couple of tours years ago. I joined when I was quite young, you know, did nothing better to do, just joined. A lot of the things the army did, I didn't really agree with, but basically you're not really there to disagree. You know, when you're there in the action, you kind of say to the, you know, your superior, "Why are we doing this? Why are we here? What's the political motive behind that?" You're just there to get it done. Then you just have to put faith that the powers that be know what they're doing. When you've got good boys next to you, good pals that you've been in the barracks with, training with, you can't hesitate to pull that trigger because you're thinking, what's the motives? Why are we here? Why are we put here? Is this to do with oil and all the rest of it? When your friend's next to you, you hesitate. The enemy, whoever that may be, they could be a family man, they could be somebody with a history. They could be a better person than you. They can take your friend's head off, clean off, because you hesitated to think, should we be here? Why? How long are we here for? What's the end game here? But when I had the chance, I finally left the army. Glad I did, but I missed the routine. But I kept with it. I get up at 5:30 every morning. Craig went, 5:30? 5:30 every morning, come down, get myself ready, have a shower, come down the barge and just take it easy. And Craig went, well, hold on a wee second, my fucking umbrella. And John went, what? Your umbrella? I don't think I saw you come on. I left my umbrella back at the, what do you call it, the shore, the bank back there. Aye, that's why I tripped up. I broke my umbrella and I tripped up. It's we could go back and get it. Did you say you broke it though? Aye, I broke it. But I want to get it. It's a good one. It's got a good handle. A good handle. Well, I think I've got a good handle on this situation. And I think to slow down the barge and back up. How much did it cost? Tenner? 20 quid. 20. Listen here. But that way, £21 notes. You can still get them. Well, that. There's 20. As long as I don't have to go back there, right? Because I don't like going back. That's the way I feel about my... I just want to get my umbrella. Just give me a second, I've not finished. That's the way I think about my life. I don't like going back. That's the good thing about... Can I just get my umbrella? Here, there's the money back. I just want that. I want my umbrella. I don't think it's that broke. Just give me a second to finish what I'm saying there. I don't like to look back. I like to kind of go forward and keep moving. And the good thing about a barge is you can actually turn it around like you can with another boat. And I like that feeling of being on the straight and narrow. I've got my journey. I've got my path. Get up. I've got my routine. I get up at 5:30. I know. Can I get my umbrella? Are you going to let me finish, son? Because for the moment you became a guest on my barge, you've not let me get a word in edgeways here. And Craig went, let me off this fucking boat. It's not a boat. Aye, it is. It's a barge, aye, which is the type of boat. It's a barge, which is a type of boat. We're going to have to agree to disagree. You see, that's what I noticed with politics as well. One thing, when you're there in the barracks and you're there serving next to various boys with various backgrounds, is you kind of get into big political disagreements because that can bleed into the whole when you're under fire, when you're seeing some action. There's some boys that I know who let their fellow boys get shot by the enemy because they disagreed with them politically. And it's one of the ugliest types of violence I've ever seen. To not so much pull the trigger yourself, but let one of your fellow boys take a bullet because you didn't agree with him. It's one of the ugliest things I've ever seen. And I saw this boy, and he was smiling. Pal that he had a disagreement with earlier that day regarding politics, Labour, Conservative, referendum, Scottish independence. I can't quite remember. But I saw the red dot on this boy's head, and I saw that the other boy see the red dot. He didn't say a fucking thing. I saw him actually smile. And I shouted, Johnny! One of the other boys is called John. It was too late. He turned towards me to see what I was talking about, but then the red dot was in the side of his head, and it blew his brain right out. A lot of people say brains. You've actually only got one brain. And I found that out the hard way. I saw a brain. And you expect when you see somebody's brain, you expect to be a wee person, don't you? Said John. You expect it to be a wee person in there, like thinking away and doing things and pulling wee levers, but it's not. It looks like a blancmange sort of trifle sort of thing. And Craig went, you what? It's true. It looks like a It's kind of shapeless. It looks like a kind of splodge. They expect like a wee guy in there, all clever, and you know he's got a wee clipboard out and he's making all the decisions and writing all it down. But it's not true because I've seen it firsthand. And Craig went, I want off this fucking boat, barge, whatever you want to call it. It's a barge, it's not a boat. That's what I said, barge, boat, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. Let me fucking off and let me get my umbrella. And the guy sitting, John said, I'm going to have to say no. I was about to let you off, but you know what? I'm going to have to say no. The next time you can get off is at bowling. Bowling? Bowling? It's not what you think. Don't worry, it's not what you think. I know what bowling is. I've been to bowling. Bowling, Scotland. This place is called Bowling. And he went, I don't want to go there. And then John went like, look out there, look out, look right there. And he turned around. And just like a joke. Next thing he knew, Craig was waking up. And you know where he was? He was at the bowling. He was at the Hollywood Bowl at the Glasgow Quay. Is it Hollywood Bowl? Springfield Quay. He was at it is. So there's your Odin Lux there. He woke up and he was there. John had taken him to actual bowling. It's Hollywood Bowl, so it's like fucking big time. And Craig went, what's going on? And John said, I've taken you to bowling. I'm taking you somewhere special. I just want to apologise for the umbrella. And he pulled out Craig's umbrella, completely fixed and refurbished. It looked better than what it did before it broke. And he said, I've got one more surprise for you. And he took him here, right here, to the Odin Lux, where every seat is... Why is that blurred? Where every seat is a recliner, an automatic recliner. And said, I've got a surprise for you. And you know who was at the door? Zafford Cakes. And he said, I'm taking you in here to watch Last Christmas. And then I'm taking you to Nando's. And then I'm giving you £100 spending money to spend at the Alea Casino entirely as you please. Walk out if you want. Take the £100, walk in, walk out. But I advise you have a wee gamble, because when me and the boys were doing a couple of tours there, we're gambling with our lives every day, and in some ways I have nightmares, other times I miss it. And he said, live on for me. Live on. And then Craig looked away and looked back. And John wasn't there. And he went, what? What's going on? And then somebody walked up. Zafford Cakes walked up to him and said, what's the matter, mate? Because he didn't know Craig. What's the matter, mate? You look like you've seen a ghost. And he said, I think I have. And Zafford Cake said, Zaffa Cake said, "You look like you've seen a ghost." He said, "I think I have." And Zaffa Cake said, "What did he look like? What was it?" It was a guy in a barge. And Zaffa Cake said, "Was he a guy who was in the army?" "Yeah." And Craig went, "Aye, so you did know him?" And Zaffa Cake said, "There was a guy, right, who came here last year and died at the last screening of Last Christmas when I was there doing a show. Doing Limmy's big rip-off. That was a code word. Yeah." And he died on this very day 1 year ago, yeah? And Craig went, "Oh my God." So there was no barge. There wasn't. It was all a ghost ship. And then Craig woke up. Like that. It was just a dream. But he was like, "What? What a dream." And he got up and he went to make himself some breakfast. And there was Zaffa Cakes in the kitchen. And Zaffa Cakes went like that. This is Zaffa Cakes. Wouldn't really call it a ghost ship. It's not a ship, it's a barge. The end. So, in case you've not worked out, it's a true story. He spoke in the guy's voice. So it wasn't a dream, or was it? And it's a true story. It's a true story. Normally I do improvs, but that one is actually a true story. How do I know? No. It wasn't. It's not a dream cop out. It wasn't a dream. Zaffa Cakes was there. It wasn't a dream. Somehow. And it's a true story. You want to know how I know? I'm a ghost. I was a ghost. I was a ghost. So see what that ghost was? I was ghosting the ghost. So whatever the ghost was, I was there. I could come in and out of reality. It's not just you don't just have ghosts for the living world. You have ghosts for the fucking ghost world as well. I was that, and then I was given permission to return to the living world after doing some tasks. Lord Christabel, thanks for the subs. Thanks for the sub. Can you explain to me the whole Zaffa Cakes Celtic Twitter thing was about the other night? Zaffa Cakes says quite a lot in his stream. That was class. He does a football manager sort of Pro Evolution Soccer manager stream. And he says quite a lot, that was class, like some sort of cheesy, cringy manager sort of person. Zaffa Cakes then quote retweeted something that Celtic said after their game with Rangers, saying, I can't remember what he said, and Celtic replied to him saying, "That's class," using like Zaffa Cakes' patter. So whoever runs the Celtic Football Club Twitter account is aware of Zaffer Cakes' banter. So he is. So that's Celtic are aware of Zaffer Cakes as a manager. What other teams? What other teams are going to get on it? Whoever's in charge of the Rangers one will be getting into a lot of trouble. Why are you not on this? That could have been us.